everybody. We're back with Bruce Springsteen, whose new album, Letter to You, comes out this Friday. Bruce, one of the things that also struck me about the documentary is you speak of the other people that you work with. You speak of so many of the subjects that you're talking about, not just in your lyrics, but in your narration and talking about your life, with extraordinary tenderness. And you've often, shown tenderness in your lyrics, but I'm just curious, as you stand on those train tracks, looking at the train light coming down the tracks, as you say in the documentary, you get in a point in your life when you become aware of your mortality.
Sure, yeah.
Has that made you more tender? Has that... yeah.
I don't know. I think you end up being a little more forgiving, of folks who may have crossed your path, or for one reason or another you've held your grudges, and it goes for the whole band. I mean, it's like when you live with people for 50 years, there's things they can't stand about you, there's things you don't like about them. Hey man, back in 1975 this happened, and it's 2015 and somebody is just beginning to talk about it. I mean, there's all of the human conundrum that you would expect exists in our band. But we have had a greater respect for the integrity of our ship than our personal grudges. And that's why we're still here, And that has held for every band member, and it will hold as long as every band member feels like that. That the integrity of our ship, its seaworthiness, and the mission that we're on takes precedence over personal grudge. Are you
a sailor, Bruce? Do you sail?
I do not.
One of the things about the album is it undoubtedly sounds like you. I hear your voice. I hear the sound of the band, and it's in keeping with the history of your sound. But then you play a song, If I Was a Priest is one of the 3 songs that you wrote in 1972. Then If I Was a Priest, okay, that sounds different than the new songs, but it sounds like you. There's no mistaking that's also you. What do you see as the difference between that man writing in 1972, or what that man wrote in 1972, and what that man is writing now?
All of the yous are in one car. And as you get older, you add another one. You add the you that's 60. You add the you that's 70. You have the you that's 30 in the car. You have the you that's 24 years old and first signed with. All of those folks are in the car that you're driving. So a lot of it depends, of course, at any given moment on who's at the wheel, And so I can sort of pull up different parts of my internal life and my internal history, and I can go to those moments and find something in common with that voice that connects. It's a bit of a time trip, It connects from that moment and lays a bond through all those years to who you are right now. So I could go back to songs I wrote when I was 22 years old, and I could find a voice to sing them in at 70, So they were a lot of fun because I don't write lyrics like that anymore, and I love that writing style, and I wish I hadn't abandoned it so soon, but I was very self-conscious about the Dylan comparisons, and so I moved away from it rather quickly. But looking back on it, I kind of had my own Dylan-esque style, that was a lot of fun, really uninhibited, really kind of just opening the dam and letting the words spill out. That had a lot of joy and a lot of and a reasonable amount of depth in it. So those songs were fun to go back to and to record on this record.
In the documentary, Clive Davis says to you that Dylan said to him after he listened to Greetings from Asbury Park, he better be careful or he might go through every word in the English language. You might run out of words. And well, he should talk. He should talk. But and you took that as like, well, I took that advice to heart because he was my mentor. Last time we were together, I asked you to name the top 5 Bruce Springsteen songs according to Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
Give me your top 3 Dylan songs, according to Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, that's really hard. That's really, really hard.
This is the final round of the competition, Bruce. This is for all the money.
All right, you've got to put Like a Rolling Stone in there just because it's a history, culture-changing piece of music, and it's also simply a fantastic rock and roll song. So that I'd have to put in there. Visions of Johanna is a big song for me. But I also like Ring Them Bells from, I forget the album it was from, but it's a favorite of mine. I like all of John Wesley Hardin, so it's hard to pick one, but let me think.
How about single line? You've given me 3 already. How about a single line? Okay. What's the first Dylan line that jumps out to you?
The first line, Once
start.
upon a time, a girl so fine threw the bumps of dime in the prime, didn't you? I mean, that was, that was like, in the end, you were hooked. You were into that story so intensely and so quickly. That's the one that immediately comes to my mind.
Not that you're asking, but mine is, my weariness amazes me. I am branded on my feet.
Oh,
and it's simple, but branded on my feet.
That's damn good.
I've been there a lot.
That's damn good.
I've been there young, I've been there old. One member of the band, Max Weinberg, is urging people to listen to the whole album. And, a lot of the youngsters will look at him like he's nuts because, listening to whole albums people don't do a lot of that anymore. Do you listen do you recommend the whole album? I mean, obviously, it's your album, but do you listen to a lot of albums all the way through these days? You're under oath.
I listen to some. I listen to the Lana Del Rey, Norman Rockwell album.
Oh, my God. How about the song The Greatest? Can we talk about the song The Greatest?
I just love her writing, and it's cinematic and her narrative is great. But the last record I actually listened to all the way through, it was the 45th anniversary of Born to Run. And so I got with a buddy of mine, and it was like Sunday morning at 11 a.m. I said, come on, we're going to jump in the car. We're going to play it from top to bottom just for the 45th anniversary. So we got in the car, and we started driving south a little bit. And the album's running itself down. And we get to Asbury Park. I turn, and I come up Kingsley Avenue, just as Born to Run hits, down past the Stone Pony, past Convention Hall, into Deal, into West Long Branch to 7.5 West End Court, just as the intro to Jungle Land hits. I'm parked in front of the house where I wrote all the songs from Born to Run. That was fun.
Wow.
So I think it's fun listening to records all the way through, just because they have there's a greater story. They're always more than the sum of their parts, and it's a greater story to tell. And yeah, I would suggest people listen to this one all the way through too, because you'll have a bigger experience.
We have to take one more break, but when we come back, maybe Bruce will play one of those guitars. You never know.